Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Randy Mills, and this is Sports History Now, where we honor, celebrate, and preserve Kentucky's greatest sports moments, one story at a time. And I'm joined today by Madison Central coach Alan Feldhaus Jr., who guided the Indians to the 2013 KHSAA Sweet 16 State Championship, and by the point guard. He's the Sweet 16 MVP, 2013 Kentucky Mr. Basketball, Dominique Hawkins. Coach Feldhaus, beginning your 40th year in coaching, 33 years at Madison Central High School in this terribly tough 11th region environment. You know, in Dominique's sophomore year, you made it to the regional championship. Lost just one game short of making it to the Sweet 16. In Dominique's junior year, unbelievable regular season. Enrolled into the regional tournament 30-1. Got a victory, and then got knocked off in the semis. Didn't quite make it that year. Can you talk just a little bit about the strength of the 11th region and how difficult it is to run that gauntlet and make it to the state tournament out of the 11th?
Oh, it is, and that's what we tell our guys year in and year out, especially when we have good teams. If you can come out of the 11th region, we feel like you got a chance to win the state championship, because it's such a gauntlet just to get through that 11th region tournament. And I know there's a lot of years that even when we've made it, we've had to play 3 teams in that 11th region who are top 20 teams. I kind of hated you brought up the 2012 season, because I think we were probably good enough to win it that year. There were some things off the floor that we didn't do right, so we had a good, it might have been the best thing in the long run. We had a good come to Jesus meeting after that, after getting upset by Woodford County in the semifinal game. And I think we learned our lessons, and it all paid off there in 2013. But now the 11th region, I mean, even the year that we won the state championship there in 2013, our semifinal game against Henry Clay, they might have been the best team that we played. I mean, of course, we were down in that game too, had to come back and win that, and that's the most people I've ever seen in Alumni Coliseum. I mean, that place was packed. It was packed.
Well, Dominique, Coach Feldhaus mentioned it's not the greatest memory, but I've got to ask you, after that junior season, kind of the mindset of the team as you knew you were looking into your senior year, with one last shot. Maybe some of your summer preparation, preseason, but after that come to Jesus meeting, what was going through your mind, maybe even as a leader, and what it was going to take to really pull this thing together with so much talent on this team and to make it happen in your senior season?
Right. Like you said, he said it correctly. It was a come to Jesus moment. That's probably the maddest I've seen coach all season. But again, I think that motivated us for the next season. We realized we only lost one game that regular season, and we beat the #1 team that won the state championship, Trinity, as well. And we returned 8 seniors the next year. So we was motivated to make sure we get back to the region and finish the business.
Absolutely. As we get into that season, now we'll go to the happier times. I think most everybody anywhere would be happy with a record of 31-2 in your junior season, but of course you didn't get the big goal. And so now we're into the senior year. How did you come into that year, Coach, and approaching it, knowing that there may be some highs and some lows, or working with this team? What are some of the things you remember maybe from the regular season leading up to tournament time?
The main thing, I mean, we knew we had a good team. We knew we had a chance to win the 11th region. So we wanted to make sure we were prepared, and to be prepared, you have to play a very competitive schedule. And of course, we've always done that at Madison Central, but that year was kind of unique. And you all might not even remember, I'm sure Dominique does. The first weekend of the season, we actually played the Harrison twins down in the Marshall County Hoop Fest. But the interesting thing, I think Dominique, 4 of my starters that year were actually football players. Dominique was our best running back, Kendra was our best receiver, Hunter Stocker was our quarterback, Daniel Park played soccer and was the kicker on the football team. So those guys, I think they won a couple games in the playoffs and then had to go to Trinity. So I think I only had them in the gym like a week and a half before we had to go play the Harrison twins. So we definitely were a little rusty, but I think they still only beat us 5 or 6. I think Dominique had 29 or 30. He actually scored more than the 2 Harrison twins did combined. But our schedule, we wanted to make sure our schedule was stacked, and it was the Kings of Bluegrass. Of course, you always play unbelievable teams in the Kings of Bluegrass. I think, of course, the Harrison twins beat us, and then I think we played Bullitt East in a classic up in Louisville before Christmas, and they beat us. We returned the favor in the consolation game of the King of Bluegrass. We got to beat Derek that game. So those were our 2 losses before Christmas. And then, let's see, Dominic, you have to help. I know Trinity beat us at Trinity. Probably one of the most Dominique played, I know Ray Harper was there. He was a coach at Western. He did an unbelievable job recruiting Dominique. And before we won a state championship, I think that's probably where Dominique would have gone. I really felt bad for Ray because I love Ray Harper. He was at the game. This was at Trinity, and you don't win at Trinity very, very often, but he was having one of the most unbelievable games I'd ever seen him have. And we were ahead, like 6 or 8 points midway through the 3rd quarter. And for some reason, the referees called the 3rd foul and the 4th foul on consecutive trips down the floor on Dominique. And, of course, I had to take him out. And then we were down by 8 by the time I could put him back in. But he had one of the most unbelievable, of course, we're kind of known for our lob dunks, our back screen lob dunks. Daniel Park threw a lob off. They went to a zone 1 possession. Well, see, we call Arizona as our back screen lob place. We called Arizona. Dominique caught one-handed. I mean, he absolutely hammered that thing. It was so good. Trinity cheering section, they actually stood up and was cheering for Dominique then. So they beat us, and then I guess that was our third or 4th loss. And then, I hate to say it, our last loss that we encountered that year was to the Russell County Lakers, unfortunately, who was coached by my brother. But that was not like that was a fluke. I mean, it was at Russell County. I think Quan Taylor, our 5-man, only played about 4 minutes that game. He was in foul trouble. Dominique was in foul trouble. But they beat us. I mean, they had a kid we couldn't do it. It was definitely at Russell County. So I remember when we went to the House and the Senate after we won. Of course, Jeff Hoover from Russell County, he actually did the PA for Russell. He had to bring that up in front of everybody there in Frankfort. Said, just to remind us that the last group to beat us by these little guys from Russell County. So that really made me feel good. But now our schedule is brutal. I think that was the main thing. In a lot of those games in the King, we came from behind to win those basketball games, and that definitely helped out in the state tournament because we were behind in the last three games we played.
And I think as we move on into the state tournament here in a few minutes, we may talk a little bit about that team of destiny and how so often you overcame deficits. I want to go back. I want to get you into the Sweet 16 in your senior year, Dominique, and really piggyback on something that Coach said, that Henry Clay game. I believe you scored 24 in that 60-56 win, so I know you took a lot on your shoulders down the stretch. You know, when you've focused so much on getting to the Sweet 16 and put so much time and effort and energy and didn't get there as a junior, can you remember that game for me a little bit? And thank goodness Coach had players like you who responded big in those moments, but there had to be a little bit in your head like, oh my gosh, you know, we can't let this get away from us.
Correct. We did play Henry Clay in the regionals.
Right, in the semis.
The semis, correct. And we, as a team, we knew if we can win this game that we probably could definitely get to state. We felt like that was the biggest game of the season for us. They had, I can't remember all the players they had, though, but they had 5 really good starters, like tremendous starters. Talent-wise, they're as good as us. It was just as good as us, to be honest. And that game, like Coach said, I don't even remember. I couldn't even hear Coach calling a play or anything. It was so packed and loud. But I feel like in high school, the bigger the lights was, the bigger that I came out and played. Every game that was a big moment, I felt like I had to step it up a notch, and I did. Also, I could piggyback on my teammates, especially Quan and Kenja. I felt like we was the big 3, but our role players was huge too. George Walker, Daniel Park, Hunter Stocker. They come up big in those moments as well. But yeah, like after playing that Henry Clay game, I think our next opponent was Lexington Catholic, and we beat them in the regular season pretty well. I remember that game because that dunk
against Jack Whitman.
At the end of the game, that was my first poster dunk. Jack Whitman is about 6'10", 6'9". I remember I believe they was going to try to foul me, but I just end up ripping the ball to the right, dribbling it twice, and I raise up one hand right over him.
Off 2 feet.
Yeah,
it was very impressive.
Yeah, it was nice. So, but yeah, then we played Catholic, and we just felt like we was a better team, and we just went out there with confidence and won that game as well.
The thing you mentioned, what Dominique mentioned, Dominique was one of those players that we had a few games on our schedule where we were obviously better than the other team, and Dominique, being the point guard, being as unselfish as he was, he would kind of make sure his teammates got points, and he kind of stayed back in the background. But Dominique could probably tell you this. I didn't have to tell him, but I would. When we'd have those big games on game day, I'd always shoot Dominique a text. Dominique, big-time players step up in big-time games. Obviously, every time we had a big game, not that I had to, because he knew when he needed to step up, but that's just the type of person he was, and type of player he was, and that's why he was more of a silent leader, but he knew how to keep his teammates happy. And he talked about our role players. I mean, our role players were very important. Those 3 guys that he mentioned, because they understood their roles. The greatest example, I think, the steal when we were down by 2. George Walker makes the steal on the inbounds pass from Keelan Martin. We always kid George. It took him 0.25 seconds to find Dominique and give him the basketball. But I mean, they understood. I mean, Dominique was option 1, Kendra was option 2, and Quan was option 3, and those guys were good with that. And they had their roles, and you got to have good role players to do something as special as this bunch did.
Well, after you beat Henry Clay in the semis, I've known some teams to have a little letdown after a great big win like that. But we'll go on record to say that you did win the regional championship game against Lexington Catholic by a score of 67-46. So now we're rolling into the Sweet 16, and I want us to say just a little bit more about the fact that you were a senior-laden team. You had the starting 5, that we've mentioned with Kenja Bosley, Quan Taylor, of course, Dominique, Daniel Park, and Hunter Stockton. You came off the bench, Coach, pretty strong there with DeMarcus George Walker, Sam Jones, some of those guys. Maybe tell us a little bit about some of those teammates, Dominique, and their roles and how important they were to the success of the team.
Correct. Like Coach said, everyone knew their role. That's what makes a good team. I feel like our chemistry was really good as well. We grew up with those seniors. We grew up together from Madison Middle, even elementary. I went to probably 4 of those guys. I went to elementary all the way to middle school to high school with, and also we played travel ball together with the Madison County Colonels. Like I said, our chemistry was unbelievable. Without those guys, we wouldn't win as far as we did. Personalities. Each one of those guys got different personalities. It'll take me forever to go through each and one of them, though. But unbelievable guys, good friends. Still talk to most of those guys as well. So love those guys.
Pretty good feeling going in, knowing you had the 8 seniors, a couple other contributors, a junior, sophomore, I think. But that starting lineup of 5 seniors, pretty good feeling for a coach.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we can have the quality seniors, and they've been with our program long enough, chances are we're going to be pretty good. And then to have, I think, especially with high school basketball, when you have good guards like Dominique and Kendra, they do not come around very often. And Dominique, he hit the net. This chemistry-wise is one of the most unique bunches that I've had. A little background story. Quan Taylor, our 5-man, who was the championship game, he was probably up until last, where Dominique kind of took over the last minute. He was the star of the game. I mean, he was very impressive that championship game. But if you knew anything about Quan's background, Quan's mom actually, Dad really was not in the picture. Quan's mom got in some trouble, and she actually went to the pen sophomore year. So Quan, I mean, he stayed with relatives. I'd like to know how many different houses he stayed at during the 4 years that I had Quan. I mean, he was pretty much on his own. He stayed with us a lot. It was really a sad situation. And when he was with us, and Quan will tell you this today, because he's doing much better today. He got in trouble after he graduated. He's doing much better today. And he would tell you this today. When he was with us, there was nobody worked any harder than Quan Taylor, and he was a great teammate. He loved his teammates. He loved his coaches, because we helped raise him. I'll be quite honest with you. But when he wasn't with us, he was a street kid. I mean, he'll tell you he lived off the streets, and he had to grow up the hard way. And truthfully, that's what made it so special when we did win. And George Walker had some of the same issues as far as not much help as far as home life is concerned. And Dominic will tell you, after we won, we kept preaching. And I think everybody knew. We said, do not let this be the highlight of your life. I mean, use this as a stepping stone to do bigger and better things. Everybody knew who we as coaches were talking to. We were talking to Quan and George. But I think that was what was so special about that group, because Dominique will tell you, on game days, I didn't know, I found this out their junior, senior, I didn't know if Quan really had money to eat on game days. So their senior year, as soon as school was out, Quan, Dominique, and Kenja, they would come down here and they would go with me. Every game day, they would get in my car. Where would we go, Dominique, to eat? We went to Subway every game day. I'd take them to Subway. They would eat. Then we'd go to my house. They'd go down and take them a nap until I yelled, come on, guys, it's time to go to the gym. And it was just a unique bunch, because we were together so much. And like with Quan, you all might even remember, Quan didn't start the semifinals of the state tournament because he was late for our shoot around. And the reason he was late, he had gone to Dick's to buy these fluorescent green or yellow socks or whatever that he wore. So I didn't start him. And of course we ended up winning. He in foul trouble. He didn't play hardly any of that game against Hopkinsville, and DeMarcus George came in and played really, really well. So that night, Quan did not have any choice. He was spending the night at Coach's house. So he got him a good night's rest that night. And of course, he played extremely well that state championship game. So that, to me, I mean, that's another reason why that year, because it was just a very unique bunch. And my assistants and myself, we just feel like they felt like sons to us, because we were together a lot. Yeah, a lot.
To be honest, he was dads to us. Like he said, a lot of us didn't have our dads in our life, so we looked at him as a father figure.
And that's what I was going to ask you to expand on, actually, Dominique, just to interrupt you real quickly. We've heard Coach talk about his relationship with the players, and as you were already moving along there, could you continue talking about the way the players look to Coach Feldhaus and the coaching staff, and how that was really a big part of the team's success also?
Yeah. It was. I feel like it wasn't normal. I never been with a coach that actually cared about the players off the court as much as Coach did. He took care of each kid. If they needed something, he'd make sure he was there for them. Same thing with other staffs. Coach Rob did the same thing. Coach Fritz did the same thing, which is now the principal at Madison Central now. They all looked out for us. I remember being in middle school. I couldn't even get the bus to get to practice on time, so Coach Fritz would come and get me in middle school so I can make practice on time, just little things like that. And like he said, Quan, he came his 8th grade year to Madison Middle, was not developed as a basketball player at all. Came to Madison Central, each year he got better, each single year. And also off the court stuff, he got better and wiser as well. Obviously he's gonna do dumb stuff, he's a kid at that time. But again, with a coach like this that holds you accountable, it helps in the long run for sure. And like you said, all the players looked up to him, and he got us in the right direction, off and on the court.
Well, and that direction took you into Rupp Arena, and we want to talk about those games. But first, you are in Rupp Arena. And as I recall that year, it was the very first game of the state tournament. So you walk out on the floor for the very first time. As we know, there are no shoot-arounds in Rupp Arena before the Sweet 16. That's not allowed. And you're coaching in Rupp Arena. Describe that feeling just a little bit, Coach, to know that golly, you look up and just keep looking up and seeing how big the place is.
Yeah, well, we talked about it a lot, and of course I had the opportunity not only to have already coached there, but to have played, and we talked. There's nothing better than stepping out on that floor at Rudd. We talked about it all the time. Right. I mean, all the time. And I can remember Daniel Park talking about the first time he ran. Of course, the court is a little bit elevated. He trips when we come out of the locker room the first time to get out on the floor. So, and I mean, you can say that to kids that there's nothing like it, but they don't understand what you're talking about until they actually get to step on that floor. And of course, our crowd, our student section was amazing. The crowds for all of our games was amazing, and I think our whole community, they understood how unique and special this group was. So everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and that's when I go. Of course, I'd like to have $1 for every time that I've gone back and watched that final game. But and even the semifinal and the quarterfinal game against Covington Homes in Hopkinsville. Just how loud when we would get on those runs, because we had to come from behind from all three of those games, just how loud the crowd was. And the Ballard game, of course, coming down from 16, I think we actually, early in the fourth quarter, we actually took the lead. Kenja hit a 3, and they had to call timeout, and I can just remember just the noise, it was just vibrating. Even when you watch it in there in my office, which we've watched it a million times before, you get cold chills and goosebumps just watching it. So I was just, I guess I've had 4 groups to get that opportunity to play, but it was this group that I was just so happy that they got that opportunity to go through that, because we'd gone through a lot together, not only on the floor but off the floor too.
Did you have a few more butterflies than usual?
I definitely did. To be honest, I was more excited to warm up and dunk on the rim. I remember the coaches always be like, "Oh, the college floor is super bouncy. You'll be able to dunk easy." So I wanted to try to see if I could do a little trick. But I had butterflies. As soon as the ball tipped, it goes away though. But again, like, that place is historical. It's crazy being able to play at it as a kid. And then I'll talk about college level too. My first game there, I was even more nervous. I played there, and I was even more nervous because that thing was filled up with 20,000 the first game. So, but it's an awesome place, and love that I got that opportunity at that young age too.
Well, now we're ready to make that 4-game run, and you did open the tournament that year. You got a big win over Wayne County, but Coach, you're going to agree with me. You better be ready to play against the Rodney Woods basketball team, hadn't you?
Well, we told our guys that. Of course, I'd love Coach. Actually, I don't know how many wins I've got, but when I started coaching in Clinton County, Rodney was at Wayne County. My first win as a high school coach was against Wayne County Rodney Woods. I think when I started off 0-4, and Wayne County came to our place, and I remind Rodney of that quite often. But that's what we told her. The difference, I mean, they had won 27, 28 games and well coached, fundamentals, but they were young. They were starting some freshmen and sophomores, and like you said, we had mostly seniors out there. We were a little bigger and stronger, and that was the difference. But I was really proud of my guys that they were focused. Because, I mean, you look at us warm up and you look at them warm up and you say, well, I mean, we're obviously should be the better team, but they're the type of team that can embarrass you on back cuts and stuff like that. But our guys were very focused defensively, especially, and that kind of set the tone for the whole game, our defense early.
Well, I think the label of maybe team of destiny, comeback kids, however we may want to frame it, really got rolling on Friday afternoon in the quarters, because you faced an extremely tough Covington Homes, the Homes Bulldogs team. Give us a little thought on that, Dominique, how that game flowed. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was an overtime basketball game.
It was. I just remember they had a kid, nickname is Beetle. Was it Beetle?
Beetle Bowden.
Beetle Bowden. He was young too, like a sophomore.
Tough lefty, wasn't he?
Yes. And I was guarding him most of the game, but again, I got to do so much to guard him to stop him from scoring. But also got to worry about me being able to put points on the board as well. that game, all I remember is just the tempo. I feel like it was a fast-paced game, and that it was just trading buckets back and forth. The intensity was there. It was loud. All three of those final 3 games was super loud. Like Coach said, our fan base was great. We got our energy off our fan base and made runs that way, I feel like, as well. So, but I remember the Beetle kid. He was a problem at that time.
Coach, some of the games you mentioned during the course of the season, you really had been I guess that you go back and think about that scheduling philosophy, but you did come in battle-tested for these kinds of situations, because I think you were down by 10 or 12 maybe to
both
Holmes.
the quarterfinal and the semifinal game. Yeah. And I just go back, I think it probably started with the Kings of Bluegrass. We opened up with St. X, and they had us down the entire game. Dominique thought maybe it's the Madison. That was the maddest I think I've ever.
Yeah, that's
we had a good team. I'm only going to go play. I've got an understanding with Lloyd Gardner. He says, Coach, you just call me when you know you're good enough. And I'm not going to go unless I think we can compete. And that year I knew we were good enough. We go up there and we played St. X that first game. In the first half, we were horrible. And that locker room at halftime was not pleasant.
Everybody got it.
I remember I got so fired up. Coach Fritz, he talks about there was a sink off the side, so I'd rip on them for 5 minutes, and I'd go over the sink and I'd put cold water on my face, and I'd come back and rip on them again. And then, of course, like with Dominique, I don't have to say too much to Dominique, but I think I got on him pretty good at half, because you don't have to. He's going to respond, and he did. And we came back, got in the game, but we got in foul trouble. We actually, halfway through the fourth quarter, 4 starters, including Dominique, had fouled out. The only one that had not fouled out was Kenja Bosley. So we played the rest of the fourth quarter with 4 JV players. DeMarcus George played great. Little Cody Alexander came in and played great. And Kenja hits a shot from mid-court to send it into overtime. And Kenja had a temperature of 102 that entire day. The first 3 quarters, he hadn't done anything. When Dominique fouled out, Kenja just took over. He scores 24 points in the fourth quarter in the overtime, and we win. Come back from behind to win. St. Fairdale, the next game, we're down 5 with a minute to go. We come back and win. And then Ballard, actually we played Ballard in the semifinals, and they beat us 88-86. It was a great game. And then after Christmas, we were invited to play at South Charleston tournament in West Virginia. And I don't even know how to describe the gym. It was like a rec center. And just had seats on one side. It was packed. Well, we didn't know how good they were. We won our first game. It was just 4 teams in it. We beat Madison Central, who has a great football program up in Ohio. Beat them the first game. And then, of course, we played South Charleston. And then they told us, Coach, we haven't lost in this gym in like 6 or 7 years. Well, they had us down 10 or 12 at the half. And once again, we had to have a little meeting. But we come out, I think we shot 78% the second half and ended up beating them by 8 or 10 points. So we had been down many times. We didn't panic. These guys did not panic when they got by in any of those state tournaments. I never did see a sense of panic. They still believed, we had a chance to come back and win. And it helps when you have players like Dominique and Kenja.
And you got Holmes in overtime. And one thing we might mention, historically speaking, that 2013 tournament was the first one that for that stretch of time the KHSAA went to playing the semifinals on Saturday and then the championship game on Sunday afternoon. So now you've got a shoot around to prepare for Hopkinsville. Quan out buying his socks and getting in a little late. Coach, did you all stay here? I wanted to ask that.
We've never.
You didn't stay in a hotel?
No, we've always. I like them to stay in their own or my house or whatever it might be. No, we've never. Heck, it'll take us 30 minutes to get there. Why would we want to go stay in a hotel? And that's what, maybe I'm old school. Kids, when they get in hotels with their phones and video, they're not going to sleep. So as long as we go we're staying at home, I promise you.
So you do get on the bus and head back to Rupp Arena, and again, that crowd was phenomenal. I believe that night it's maybe the largest semifinal crowd ever in the history of the Sweet 16.
Was in the other games.
Oh man, that Madison Central crowd lifted you all up. But here you are against another just extremely athletic, hard-nosed, get after you kind of Hopkinsville team. And I think as the script goes, you got down by 12 points or so, and here we go again. How about that deal, Dominique?
Yeah, like Coach and you were saying, we stay composed and wanted to finish out the game believing we would win. Going down by that much, it gets in your mind. You look at the scoreboard and see it. But as a player, I am the point guard. I can't show that I'm frustrated or stressed. Then the whole team will do the same thing. So I stay composed. So does my peers as well. And that team was very athletic. Getting to the rack. What's that one kid named? Georgia Major.
Yeah. Really full court pressure.
Yeah, but we didn't have to worry. People that kind of played into our hands.
Yeah, you kind of like that, I guess.
Ballard kind of tried to double team Dominique and keep him from getting the ball, but we kind of wanted people to press that team. That kind of played into our hands.
Yeah. But I felt like that team was physical. That's what I really remember about them. And again, and us going down, we just rallied back up. That's all I can remember about that game, really.
As you win these games, of course, then you're going to prepare for Ballard. And I wonder, Coach, how was the team? I know your coaching staff very well, and the amount of time you all put in, my gosh, and the preparation and all. How did they do, with scouting reports and trying to execute some of the strategies you all thought were going to be important to beat the Holmeses and the Hopkinsvilles and eventually Ballard?
Oh, they were very good. Of course, that was one of the better defensive teams that I've had. A lot more athleticism than we're used to having here at Madison Central. When I came to Madison Central 33 years ago, that's one of the things I figured out real quick. On a year-in, year-out basis, we're not going to be as athletic as those teams across the river there in Fayette County. So we really had to be a stickler for defense and our man-to-man defense. And it makes it a lot easier to play man-to-man defense when you got guys like we had that year. But they would follow a scouting report, and they understood who the best players were, and they did follow. We knew what their tendencies were. We tried to take those away, so they were good. They were good about that. It helps when you have more than one guy that you count on to be a stopper. I mean, Dominique could be a stopper, but he was at Holmes game against Beetle. We finally moved Kenja over just so he could relax a little bit, maybe go to work more on the. And it's nice to have that luxury where you can put another good top defender on a good player.
We had a couple of neat things going on that Sunday. One was, of course, it was the first ever KHSAA State Championship game played on Sunday. Second thing, hats off. It was the first time that a father who had coached in a state championship game, Alan Feldhaus Sr., 1981 Mason County Royals. If there was ever a crowd that could rival the Madison Central crowd of 2013, which was huge and big in your all's success, as we've acknowledged, it would be the Mason County crowds of 1981. The pregame parties. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they had those great big pregame parties, boy, and really brought
Not that I got to go to them, but I remember hearing about it.
And so, and Alan, a coach as a senior on that basketball team, and led the team with his father as the coach to the state championship game, and came up short against Simon Kenton. But now here we are with the son who played in the championship game in 1981. He's going to coach a team in 2013. So that's pretty cool too. Big time crowd there that game. But maybe, as I've said before, well, here we go again. And at the half, you're down 34-22, down by 12 at the half to Ballard. How about that halftime talk, Coach?
I mean, we just didn't hit shots there early.
Right.
I think we were worried about fatigue after playing. You remember after we won Hopkinsville, you remember what we did after, because we think we got to get these muscles back. Tell them what we did, Dominique, after the.
We went to take an ice bath, and that's not one of my favorite things to do. It's just my toes. When I put my toes in the water, they don't want to stay in there too long.
So we didn't give them any choice. Those starters and George said, you're going to stay in that. We went to Doc Palmer, our dentist and our big supporter, his house. He had a big hot tub, and we filled it up with ice. And everybody's going to stay in there 5 minutes now. Dominique was struggling to keep in there for 5 minutes, but we kept him in there for 5 minutes. That was the difference. That's why you took over there.
Here we go.
5 minutes changed the game for me.
Absolutely. Well, you come out and it wasn't all miraculous talk at halftime, if I may say that, because here comes Ballard again.
Yep.
And that 12-point lead grows to 16. I'd love to see this documented, but I've got to believe that may be the largest deficit for any state championship team to overcome in the second half. You were down by 16 points, okay? And we've got like 12 minutes to go in the game. So something's got to happen. Somebody's got to turn the switch on. Tell me about that belief, or what do you think about that run y'all went on, Dominique?
Yeah, it's crazy to say though, but I never really look at the scoreboard. I just played to the game's over with. I know, like Coach said, I remember we couldn't make many shots. I felt like I was getting boxing one. They had a little football player on me, chasing me around the whole game. And again, I could feel that I was tired. I was very fatigued that game though, but again, I had to push through it. Coming back, I just remember, I think, did DeMarcus George play a little bit of that game?
He played a little
bit of that game. And I feel like he said, Quan really stepped up big for us when we started making a run as well.
And I was really, that was the first time when we got down to 16. I did think, I don't know if this guy happened, because I don't know if you remember, Dominique, Quan actually, we had to take him out because his shoulder kind of popped out of place. And that was when we were down by 16. And then we had to remind ourselves, Quan, every once in a while, he just needed a little bit of attention. So once we got him out, I said, Quan, you're all right, your shoulder's back in, put him back in. He was fine. And then really, by the end of the third quarter, we made a big run there right at the end of the third quarter to kind of get it back in striking.
You cut it to 6, I believe.
In striking. And really, Dominique, they called a foul. We just had a big run. I think you shot a free throw. We got an offensive rebound, stuck it back in. And Snyder gets a shot off at the end of the third quarter, and they call a foul on you. Remember that?
I do remember that possession, yes.
I don't think you touched him.
Yes.
Dominique won't lie. Dominique will tell you, yeah, Coach, I got it. I said, Dominique, no, Coach, I didn't touch him. So we thought that might have kind of ruined our little push, but it didn't. We kind of went right on to start the fourth quarter and kept it going.
Yeah, and then it was a tight fourth quarter game, but then they did manage to pretty much kind of have control, it seemed like. I'm recalling that you were down by 5 with 50 seconds to play. And
we're down 5 with 32 seconds.
Yeah, 32, yeah. Why don't you take us through it, Coach? And
I can remember it like the back of my.
Take us through it, and I want to know about that last second shot. I want to know how the ball got into Ken Bosley's hands, if we counted that as an assist. But we'll let you kind of take it from there and see how Madison Central won that state championship down by 5 with 30 seconds to play.
Yeah, well, that's really credit to Ballard, because we did take the lead early in the fourth, and then they went right back and took control of the game. I think Dominique got fouled with 32 seconds to go, and we were down, I think it was like 63-58. And Dominique hits both free throws. They get it in bounds, get it to Snyder. They're trying to dribble the clock out. I think we foul him with like 26 seconds. He only hits 1 out of 2. So we're down by 4. They double teamed Dominique. We couldn't get the ball in bounds. We had to call a timeout. So we called a timeout. We threw it into Kenja. Then he got it back to Dominique. Dominique takes it length of floor and lays it in to cut it to 2 with like 15 seconds to go. So we call timeout again. So our game plan was we didn't want Snyder to catch the ball. So we kind of doubled him. I can't remember who was taking it out. We were kind of doubling. He kind of doubled up on, I don't know if you were, or Kenja was guarding Snyder. But anyway, we didn't let him catch it. So Keelan Martin, who Keelan played in the NBA, was taking the ball out of bounds. He runs a baseline. He throws the pass up the sideline, and it's too high, and George Walker is right there. And George makes a steal, and Dominique comes running to George. George gets it to him real quick, and Dominique starts to go to work. And as he starts to drive, he basically gets tripped. He gets tripped, and it just so happens the ball goes right to Kenja. And we have a partner shooting that we do every day in practice. And one of we call it pass fake jab step, where you catch it on the move, you pass fake, jab step, and you cross it over and go. Well, it just so happened the way it turned out when he called it, he made the pass fake, he jab step 1 step to the right, jumps up and shoots a 3, and it goes in. And really, Ballard was kind of slow calling that timeout. When that ball went through the net, it stayed in the air forever. Yeah, I mean, I think when it left his hands, it was like 8 or 9 seconds left. By the time it came through the net, it was like right at 5. Well, I think everybody was shocked, and they were shocked too, so they didn't call the timeout till like 2 seconds to go. So, of course, we were still, it wasn't over, believe me, because I'd been to Philadelphia in 1992 when my brother was playing for Kentucky, and Leitner hits that shot with 2 seconds left. So we said, this game is not over. So we were more concerned about them throwing that long type of pass into their front court. So we were really kind of relieved when they threw it to Snyder, and he'd had to make a 3/4 court shot, and of course he missed it. But no, I remember those last 32 seconds like it was yesterday.
Well, gosh, I'm right there with you. I think when everybody in the arena is just so stunned, everybody, like you say, Ballard just kind of froze. Everybody froze, and a couple more seconds went
That's probably the thing I enjoy the most when I go back and watch that game. It was great when the ball goes through the net, but it's just to watch the people in the crowd. They're close to the floor, to see their reaction when that ball goes through, to watch our crowd. I don't know who the kid was, but our student section, we had some student on the front row that had a pink hoodie on. And everybody else got on blue and red, but he's the one I noticed just going crazy because he had that pink hoodie on. Just watching people's reaction to that is great.
What was your initial reaction to Kenja's made shot, if you can even remember?
I thought I was dreaming. I couldn't even believe it, to be honest. Coach did a great job telling the story. When George gave me the ball, I was just thinking about, I got to get the basket. When it came off of when I got tripped and it came off my foot, I thought I was like, oh, that's the game. I looked up and I just see the shot going up, because I'm on the ground pretty much. I try to get up real quick. I see the shot going up, goes in up in the net. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm trying to find Quentin Snyder to make sure he don't get the ball. But again, I remember everyone reacting. I remember Kenja having his hands on top of his head, like, oh my goodness, and everyone celebrating, but Coach staying composed, trying to keep everyone together, say it's not over yet. So yep.
Well, massive team effort, but I want to certainly sing your praises, Dominique. 107 points during the course of the 4-game Sweet 16, 35 rebounds, so you're sitting there averaging 27 points, 9 rebounds a game. The big three on the all-tournament team, we've got Dominique, of course, Quinn Taylor and Kenja Bosley making the all-tournament team. You come up as the most valuable player, without question. Daniel Park had a couple of nice awards. I think he had an Excellence Award, and he also had an academic scholarship. But one pretty cool award too, Dominique, and I think no one was surprised when I was able to announce at the Sweet 16 that you were the MVP. But something pretty cool too is that Larry Conley Ultimate Teammate Award. Mm-hmm. Did that kind of resonate in your mind as something that was pretty special?
For sure. I feel like the biggest award is when people can appreciate you as a person and as a teammate. The stats are great. Again, I play the game to win for sure, but also I do what it takes to win for my team. So if I got to score that many points, I do that. If I got to get that many rebounds, I do that. But I always want to be a great teammate first.
Absolutely. And Coach, when you could finally breathe a sigh of relief, there's a wonderful moment that I recall, and that was you embracing your father, hugging your father. Can you recall that moment, if you would, for us?
Yeah, I'll try to without getting emotional. It was because when you grow up in a family like mine, where Kentucky high school basketball, I mean, that's all we knew. I mean, we've done it for forever, and I'm just so thankful that Dad was still alive when this happened. Of course, it kind of erased some of that sting of when we got beat in that final game, and it just felt really good. And I know there was nobody any more excited than my dad was. So I'll stop right there.
That's awesome. I want to know, you all were disciplined and under control as a basketball team, but what about the bus ride home? Was that under control or not?
I feel like it was all control. We had too many crazy people. What did we do on the bus?
We went to Rafferty's first because we were going to have a big parade back in town here. So we went to Rafferty's first. That way they could line up all the fire trucks and stuff.
Okay.
So cheerleaders, my wife's cheerleaders, they ride with us everywhere we go. So believe me, we ate really well that week. And we had a lot of people. I mean, we ate really well. So we went to Rafferty's, and then we met at the police station, the Richmond police station, and they had a fire truck for the cheerleaders to get on. and then they had a fire truck for us to get on, and then we had a big parade where we went through downtown Richmond. There was all kinds of people there, and then we took it back to school, and we had a little pep rally here at school. I know it was a very draining week, not only physically for these guys, emotionally for everybody. The worst thing, the thing I told them, I said, all right, we won a state championship. It's Sunday. Hey, you be here at school 8 o'clock at night. Of course, after you win a state champ, I think it's pretty easy. They probably won it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think, of course, it's a big old school here. During lunch that day, I think when Kenja, after hitting that shot, when Kenja walked in the cafeteria, what happened? You like,
they go crazy.
Everybody in the whole cafeteria starts going crazy, giving a standing ovation. So, but we just had that was a special class, that 2013 class. Not just the basketball player, because our girls basketball team was very good that year. Our cheering section, kids were very, very close. They're a very tight-knit group, and they love these guys, and they kind of showed their appreciation when they got back to school that next day.
Well, when you're a state champion, Dominique, it's something that can never, ever be taken away from you. And you live on just year after year, and it gets bigger and bigger, and what a tremendous championship run. Just as we wrap up and someone pops up and asks you about that 2013 season, winning the state championship, and what it is to you inside now, how do you respond? What do you say about it? It's just, how can you explain it?
It's unbelievable. I thought playing, to be honest, and I'm not just saying, I thought playing at Kentucky was like everything, but now 10 years later, that state championship is everything to me. It means a lot more. When I see people, that's the first thing people bring up. It's not being a Wildcat, it's about winning Kentucky championship and being Mr. Basketball.
That's super. So, Coach, we really did begin by revealing that you've had 40 years as a high school basketball coach. So many wins, so many moments. But here we are now focused on 2013, the state championship of the Sweet 16 in our state. There's no classification in the state of Kentucky. There's only one state champion, and that's the Madison Central Indians. How do you pull it together in your mind now that we're about 12 years removed, and what it really does mean to you and how big of an accomplishment that was for the team and the community?
Right. You're right. I mean, it's something they're never going to be able to take away. And it is so special here in Kentucky because I assume we're the last state where you just have one class in basketball. So I think it would probably felt a little bit different if we had 6 different classes and we were one of the 6. But hey, we can say we were the best. We were the best that year. So and that makes it special. And then the team itself that won that state championship was just so special to us as coaches, to my family, because we were all so close, not just on the floor, but off the floor. So that makes it even more special. But yeah, every single time in March when state tournament rolls around, when you walk in that gym, Rupp Arena, you can walk in there with your chest pumped out, knowing that hey, there's one year this was ours, and that makes it special. I'd like to have one more, but you never know. But hey, I've got one, so they're never going to be able to take that away from me. They're never going to be able to take that away from that team. And it was just such a special team, and it was just really neat how the whole community rallied around them too.
Well, that's especially right, and so happy for you guys and that moment, and so appreciative that Dominique, that you would spend time with us today, and Coach Feldhaus, really appreciate this time together. Just a fun time to reminisce about that special 2013 basketball team, the Madison Central Indians, who today, yesterday, and always into the future, they're right there in that record book. 2013 state champions, most valuable player, Dominique Hawkins, coached by Alan Feldhaus Jr. Thanks, guys. And this has been Randy Mills. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us today on Sports History Now, where Kentucky's greatest sports memories live on. And before we close today's show, a big thank you to another of our Sports History Now supporters, Bob Roberts Insurance.
The support of friends like Bob and his family help us continue to bring sports history alive, one story at a time.